I believe that the single best way to get better at something is look at the best. Because of this, I decided to analyze and dissect MrBeast's most recent video to see what I could find. And today I'm going to be sharing every single thing that I learned. For background, the premise of this MrBeast video is that normal people are going head to head with world-class athletes.
If this subscriber can beat Ronaldo in a 1v1, I'm going to give him $1 million.
We need to talk about what makes these first 5 seconds impossible to click away from. The reason why this hook is so effective is because Ronaldo is the highest point in MrBeast's video. And one thing I've noticed about MrBeast is he starts a lot of his videos with the highest possible stake he can possibly create. Because of course, the highest stakes, the biggest promises, create the highest possibility for retention.
In this video, you are going to see the greatest, oh my gosh, the strongest, and the fastest athletes on the entire planet compete against normal people, starting with Tom Brady.
Another thing we'll notice is that he almost spoils the entire video. He says everything that's about to happen so that we begin to look forward or anticipate those other steps. Especially in a video where there's a lot of athletes and people are probably coming in for a lot of different reasons. In bringing so many sports in, we have essentially been forced into a commitment into the plot where looking away or clicking away would give us this burning feeling that we missed out on something.
High school football player Jake is your opponent. You're each gonna take turns throwing a football at these balloons. First to pop all 4 wins this $100 grand. And because Tom's 7 Super Bowl rings prove he's the greatest quarterback of all time, his balloons are just a little bit smaller.
Another thing I want you to notice is MrBeast's just pure masterclass in directing your eyes. If you haven't noticed, MrBeast editors utilize brightness a lot. Like almost every few seconds, they are writing something. Not only is brightness a great way to call attention to objects, but this brightness technique almost makes us continually engaged in what's happening visually. Because in moments where it would otherwise be, 2, 3, 4 seconds of regular B-roll, well, now we have something that simulates a subconscious change in our minds without necessarily having to change what's actually happening on the screen. But let's continue, because there's something that has continually came up that you might have missed when watching this video.
I blame the rain. Wait, did you call that rain in?
Nope, but I did call in Jake's high school football team to cheer him on. Help him beat Brady.
Have you ever noticed that when it comes to the dialogue in this video, there's almost no idle time? Well, this is what we call a J-cut. And a J-cut is essentially when you take the audio from the clip that's about to come up, lower it, stretch it out into the clip before it so that when the person finishes talking in that original clip, the dialogue from the next clip is already going to be starting. What this does psychologically is, again, it gives us no time to be idle, to be static. We're always in a state of movement. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're moving fast. It just means that we're always moving. We're always moving forward.
We have so many more amazing athletes in this video, including the greatest football player to ever play the sport, Cristiano Ronaldo. This is Noah Lyles, a triple world champion and Olympic gold medalist. And for $100 grand, he's gonna be racing Jonah, my friend.
The fattest guy in the world.
Now this might seem contradictory because I just talked about how there's no idle time, but let me tell you why this works. And to do that, let me ask you a question. Did you notice that this shot is significantly longer than 95% of the shots before it? As a matter of fact, I've been counting how many cuts have come up in the past 2.5 minutes, and it might blow you away. In just 2.5 minutes, there have been exactly 100 cuts made. That is an average of 1 every 1.5 seconds. Extremely fast paced. Well, knowing this, in theory, the editor should have cut out that dead space right there, right? Well, not necessarily. Because the pace has been set, because we have this rhythm of speed, these moments where there's nothing happening stand out so heavily in our minds. This is known as the contrast principle, where in MrBeast's case, they take advantage of the fact that we perceive the plot to be extremely fast paced so that they don't really have to do that much to jolt us out of that pacing. And when they jolt us out of that pacing, it's usually for dramatic effect. It's to deliver a punchline. It's to give a dramatic pause. It's to make a scene feel more emotional. And again, this goes back to a topic I talk about quite a bit on this channel, and it's that masterful pacing is not about being constantly fast or constantly slow. It's about using both sides of the spectrum. It's about creating a rhythmic experience for your viewer, creating ebbs and flows, guiding your viewer on when they need to lean back and when they need to lean forward to best take in what you want to communicate.
Noah won. He wants us to donate it to his charity. And by the way, we're bringing back Noah Lyles later in this video to race the fastest streamer on Earth. I show speed. But for now, let's go hit baseball with Bryce Harper.
One thing MrBeast uses a lot is this picture frame match cut, which he typically uses to transition through different topics of discussion. And again, going back to the topic of the J cut, of using brightness to direct our eyes, the match cut here is genius because it makes our brains interpret what we're seeing as if there's no change in anything. Everything flows together. Our minds perceive constant momentum and motion because every topic, every shot flows so seamlessly into the next shot. Not to mention how fast he moved on to that next topic. Let's watch that again.
Noah won. He wants us to donate it to his charity. And by the way, we're bringing back Noah Lyles later in this video to race the fastest streamer on Earth.
MrBeast and his editors give us no time to lose focus or lose engagement in a way that, in this case, makes $100,000 feel like chump change. And when $100,000 feels like chump change, we begin to ask what is in store for the rest of the video. The key to understanding all of this is acknowledging the fact that this is all intentional. This is on purpose. This is human psychology that they are using to keep us engaged. It's very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple.
You hit one of these two over, you win.
Come on, baby, one more. Let's go right here. End it right here, baby.
Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a lot about baseball, but what I do know is that MrBeast is a master in using music to direct our emotions. And it's funny because if you look at any of MrBeast's old videos, it's almost as if he put no thought into what music is being played in the background. But as of recently, he's been amazing at taking advantage of what music can do for the viewer experience. A lot of editors forget that there's two layers in an editing timeline, and they both work together. Honestly, one could argue that audio is more important than video in creating a genuine and real feeling experience for someone watching what they're watching. And with that, I advise you to maybe watch a video 3 or 4 years back on MrBeast's channel and see how different they feel. And I'm telling you, it's because of the music. Now, of course, I don't want to just glaze MrBeast. There are problems that I see with this video, and one of them is he keeps mentioning Ronaldo,
including the greatest football player to ever play the sport, Cristiano Ronaldo. But just wait until you watch Cristiano Ronaldo. But before we hang out with Ronaldo, you wanna know something that might cheer you up? What's that? How about the most popular person I've ever had in a video?
It might seem funny, but like the reason why I say that is because reminding us so much about the same thing over and over and over again might feel a little redundant. It almost feels like the editor, or I guess the script itself, doesn't believe that we're gonna remember that Ronaldo's at the end of the video. And in my opinion, constantly reiterating how cool Ronaldo is and how amazing this part of the video is could subconsciously send a message that Ronaldo is either the only good part of the video or a compensation for a lackluster video.
But Brandon, who are you to criticize MrBeast? He has hundreds of millions and more subscribers than you.
It's honestly a fair point, and it's your prerogative to agree or disagree. Just my opinion. Let's move on.
Set. Oh, they're going. Oh, Speed's ahead. Speed's actually ahead. Oh, he's got a chance. He might beat him. Oh my God, Speed, it's gonna be close. Oh!
Now, one sport I do know is track, and I guarantee you that this race probably took maybe 6 to 8 seconds to complete in total. However, if we look at this clip, this sequence took over 15 seconds to complete. And to be honest, you probably knew that that didn't take that long as well. And that's why this is so effective, because the longer something as short as a 50-meter race is dragged out, the more important that moment is perceived by us in the context of the video. And similarly, the shorter amount of time that it takes MrBeast to pass through time in a video, the less important that those things are going to seem in comparison to a 10-second race that's dragged out. And what this does for us is it communicates to us what is priority in this video and what's important to pay attention to.
Come on, Khalid!
Again, he uses that with the soccer goal. He understands that we know how long a regular soccer goal would take, probably 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and stretches or condenses those things to guide us in understanding what matters. So what you can take from this is you can use pacing to communicate to the viewer what matters in your videos. Everything doesn't have to be realistic in how the passage of time works. It's all about creating an intentional experience for your viewer. And if there are things that are less important, maybe it would be better to take some focus away from that and bring it into something that actually matters in your video. And that's the whole point. MrBeast and his team are not just creators. They are psychologists. They are human psychologists who understand how we think, what makes us tick, what keeps us engaged, but also what brings us out of a moment. And that is the reason why we cannot look away. But anyway, if you couldn't look away from this video, like and subscribe.